After making it through the fire, she's back and hungrier than ever. Coming from some of the hardest streets in Maryland, this biracial bombshell aspires to model and help women seek a better life. Continue to watch as Courtney J, a lady, businesswoman, model, actress, and author, shares her struggles filled with sin, pain, and ultimately triumph.
Growing up was hard and easy at the same time. I'm biracial and I'm from housing projects, so it was a little hard for me growing up, being that my mom was white and my dad's black. I didn't grow up in your best of neighborhoods, but because I had such a great mom, I didn't have to do some of the things that, maybe my friends were doing. She kept us busy a lot, doing positive things, playing sports, going out, having fun. Unfortunately, my mom passed away when I was 16. And after that, things went downhill. I began to get in trouble all the time. I was pretty much taking care of myself. Me and my dad didn't have a good relationship at all. Eventually, I got into modeling. I loved the attention I got from that. I loved the life I was headed towards. I loved the positive people that began to come into my life because of that. And I wasn't prepared to let that life slip me by. I took a job that I probably know I shouldn't have taken. I just got greedy.
That job would turn into a nightmare. Easy money became hard times as Courtney found herself detained overseas.
My plans were to have fun, explore the island, and eventually transport cocaine back to the U.S. The trip didn't go at all as planned. I stayed in the guest house the entire time. No one contacted me, no one visited me. On the day I was scheduled to return home, it was a disaster. The car was late picking me up. When the two guys did arrive, they were very brief with words. On our way to the airport, we stopped at this house where guy number one went inside. He then called me in with my luggage. He packaged the cocaine into my luggage. He showed me just how customs officer would search my bag, and he told me I had nothing to worry about.
But Courtney would have something to worry about. While having her luggage checked, officers became suspicious and started to ask questions.
Once I got through to my gate, I rushed to the payphone because I had to let someone know what was going on. I had to call my sister Collect, of course, who then called the guy that I was working for on three-way. He began to play like he didn't know what was going on. He told me, well, I have nothing to worry about because there's nothing in my bag. They're just messing with me. My sister's yelling in the background, cussing and fussing because she didn't even know I was in Trinidad. As I was speaking to my sister and the two guys, I saw the police officers coming back, the two same guys, this time with a female officer, and I knew what was going to happen. They asked me to get off the phone. They said that they had to search me because they had a tip that I was carrying an illegal substance. I continued to act like I didn't know what they were speaking about. We went down to baggage claim. They gave me my bag. They made me pick out my bag, actually. They searched through my bag, and within less than 5 minutes, they found the cocaine, and I was read my rights.
While Courtney is being read her rights by the officers in Trinidad, a frantic phone call is being made back in the States.
When Tamika first told me that Courtney was arrested, I was in shock. I thought she was joking at first. I had to keep asking her if she was serious. And then when she let me know that it wasn't a joke and that she was serious, I was just in complete shock. So I had no idea that Courtney was even going to Trinidad. When I first got off the phone with my sister, I went and looked up different names of airports and the jails that were in Trinidad. When I got the name of the airport, I called and got information about the jail. When I tried to contact her there, I got different responses. I would get an answer saying that she was there to hold on, and I would be put on hold. They would never come back to the phone. I would be hung up on when I called, or they would just tell me she wasn't there and hang up.
Not having my family there with me in Trinidad was hard. It was hard not being able to call them and speak to them when I wanted to. I was allowed, for the first year I was there, I was allowed 2 phone calls a week. Honestly, every time I spoke to my family, it was like a light bulb, and I always felt like there was hope again. And, I remembered that there was another world out there and that I could live past that world. But sometimes it was also hard to speak to my family because, you know, sometimes you just have to forget about the outside world in order to survive in that type of environment.
When it said in that Courtney was actually like in jail in Trinidad with sheesh, with it being a foreign country, and you know, it's not like your sister got arrested in Baltimore and she's in jail and you can go and see her and talk to a lawyer. She's in a whole nother country. It was really hard to keep up faith because I had to keep my life moving with my family here, and then you just kind of feel guilty when you have to keep moving, knowing that, not knowing how she's on there. It was hard.
And it was becoming harder and harder back in Trinidad. Over the next year, Courtney endured the horrible conditions within the Trinidadian prison.
I try not to think about where I came from and what I've been through, but there's so many little things that I see that, you know, remind me of what I've been through. Like that water fountain, for instance. You know, being over there, we didn't have access to things that we needed, and a lot of times we didn't have water, we didn't have things to drink, and we could be darn near dehydrated. And we had one water fountain in the prison that we weren't allowed to use. It was strictly for the officers. And so no matter how dehydrated or how thirsty we got, we had to walk past that water fountain and just keep going. Like, we could get on lockdown, we could get locked up, and we can even get an extra charge just by using the water fountain. The conditions to the prison were horrible. I would say the water would probably have to be the most traumatizing, only because we needed water. You had to drink it, you had to bathe in it, you had to brush your teeth in it, and unfortunately the water was brown. I can remember one time the country had a mudslide during rainy season. Mud flew all into our water system, which was an old swimming pool out in the back of the prison. So for a couple weeks we were drinking brown water, bathing in brown water, brushing our teeth in brown water. The most we could do to try to get clean water was distill the water with old water bottles we would save from our visits. So we would like line water bottles in the back of our cell and let them sit there for a few days or a few weeks until some of the dirt separated from the water. Of course, the officers, being the spiteful people that they were, didn't allow that either. I mean, it didn't matter how our health was. They would come into our cells and throw our water bottles away. They would only allow us to keep 1 or 2 water bottles. So there was no way of getting around it.
Courtney's meals would consist of little to nothing, typically including insects. For breakfast and dinner, 2 pieces of stale bread with either butter, jam, or Vienna sausage. And for lunch, peas and rice with a piece of mysterious meat.
It's so weird being able to look good now, you know, like I feel good to be able to dress up and get my hair done and get my makeup done. There, we weren't allowed to have any of that. We weren't even allowed to have mirrors to see what we looked like. We were each other's mirrors. We did have one, each unit had a fire alarm, and to cover the fire alarm was a little plastic box. We would take that plastic box out and put it up to a black surface, usually a Bible, and hold it up to the light. We could see our reflection that way, so, you know, that helped out a lot. We weren't allowed manicures and pedicures, and if you're used to that, you know, you feel like you need it. But we found our ways around that. We would soak our feet in our wash buckets, and we would take turns scrubbing the bottoms of each other's feet with big stones. To pluck our eyebrows, we used little stones. We did anything. We're females. We found a way to look good in that place.